The Euro 2020 knockout rounds are upon us. Had to bring back one of the favorites, James Sharman, to help break it down so far and look ahead. James, I want to start with a question that might be a little controversial. So we'll go here. Has Euro 2020 been good so far?
It's a tough question. I look back to the World Cup, 3 years ago now. It wasn't a great World Cup, was it? Not great quality. So I look at Euro so far, and it's been okay. I've enjoyed it. I think the first few days were really marred by the Christian Eriksen situation, which really kind of set us back in our seats and began to realize that, man, these games aren't really that important. But as they've progressed, they've provided plenty of drama, which is good.
Yeah,
haven't been that great performance so far. I think Italy aside, Italy's been the one team that's done it. It seems each match day they've stood up. They played some really good football. I wouldn't say great performances just yet, but very good performances. But we're still waiting for that special performance to define a team. So I'd say it's been okay. It's been quite acceptable. I'm not angry, Faizal. I'm not upset. I'm enjoying it, but I'm looking forward to some real drama and theater as the tournament progresses.
I mean, we got it to end with Group F, right? They showed us every ounce of drama as we could, especially as both those second halves were going on simultaneously there. Do you expect, I guess, that momentum to continue? I guess when you get to one game knockouts here, everything is kind of dramatic, right?
Yeah, well, precisely. And I think if we look back on numerous tournaments, once the knockout phase begins, that's when the drama, the theater really begins. And they could be really cagey, boring defensive matches. But because it's a one-off and someone's going home, it's on a knife edge. So, it really brings the tournament to life. Even though often at this point, the teams do begin to sit back a little bit more. They're very organized. They've got game plans. It's highly tactical, highly strategic. So will the momentum continue? Yeah, I think it will, because we're going to enjoy it. But are we going to see, every single match being a classic? Probably not. But I tell you what, a late goal in one bad game makes it a great game.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it, right? Like late drama is kind of all we're asking for at a stage like this. There are some pretty tasty knockout round matches, especially in this round of 16. Belgium, Portugal is appealing. England, Germany is appealing. Sweden, Ukraine is the absolute opposite of that. Is there one in particular that stands out to you? I have a feeling England, Germany is probably at the forefront of that.
Well, yeah, it's funny. I was with Tim a couple of days ago, and he asked me about that match, and I said, "Listen, England's better than Germany, right? Yeah. Germany is not a very good team, even though they've put in some decent performances. But Germany's still going to win. They're still going to beat England." Right? They are. It was what happens in these tournaments. I know it. I can feel it in my bones, Faizal. It's so frustrating. But yeah, obviously that stands out, the history. But really, Belgium, Portugal, I mean, my God, that's going to be an incredible match. Two teams that are both playing quite attacking football. Portugal, surprisingly so thus far. And Belgium, as much as we know about their attacks, incredible. They'll live and die by their defense, which is aging, to say the very least. Yeah. And we might well see Portugal really get at them, just as you might see Romelu Lukaku get at the centre-backs of Portugal, right? So that's a fascinating, intriguing match. I don't know who's going to come out on that one. I really don't. But I picked Portugal to go deep in this tournament. I've got to stick with it because there's something about that team. They haven't been good so far. Let's be honest. They've been poor at times. But something about them, probably called CR7, just does the job when he has to. It could see them progress there. But that will be one that will go down to the wire.
You've got to know how painful it was for me as a Manchester United fan to have Bruno Fernandes now coming off the bench for that team. But I got to say they look better with the lineup that they had with John Moutinho and Renato Sanchez starting. Sanchez in particular looked outstanding. Huh? Yeah. So, we know we can expect drama at a stage like this. What is something we can maybe not expect that could kind of come up?
I look at the bracket and I do not see the champion coming from the lower half of the bracket at all. You have England, Germany, and you have the Netherlands who stand out as the best teams on paper in that bottom half. But the top half, as mentioned, Belgium, Portugal, Italy, who have been just sensational so far. You got the world champions, Croatia, a tournament team playing better now. And of course, Spain, who are finally scoring goals. Yeah. It's just stacked. So, if you're enjoying the current system at Euro, enjoy it. But moving forward, don't expect to see this format again. It doesn't work. It's clunky. It's silly. These third place teams finding ways to get through despite really mediocre tournaments so far. So I guess, don't expect to see anything like this ever again.
It just means that eventually they're going to expand it to 32 teams. They're going to have
they are. It's a great point. You know what?
Coming, right?
Money is UEFA, right? Yeah, At the same time, I'll say this, Faizal. this tournament, even the minnows have really looked good, right?
Yeah.
North Macedonia have looked good. Finland looked good and held their own.
Hungary was causing problems for that group the whole time.
They provided some of the moments of this tournament so far, and Hungary could have and probably should have beaten Germany, who were very poor on that match day. So maybe there's not 8 more teams to put in this tournament who could hold their own, but you could put 4 or 5 more teams from Europe in this format, and they'll do just fine, I think. So 32 teams, bank on it down the line. It makes sense on the field and, of course, in the bank.
Yeah, well, bank is the operative word there. I got to say, Sweden has looked good as well. I know I mock them, but they have some good pieces there as well, and certainly not a team that anybody wants to play. James, listen, it is always fun catching up with that. I'll ask you for the prediction, because it feels like it's been a while since we've got to speak, so I just want to extend this as much as possible. Now that the bracket has played itself out into what you see, we've all had our pre-tournament predictions. Throw them out the window because it never goes the way we want coming out of the group stages. Who is the team that you think has got the most favorable path to winning?
Well, who's gonna play Sweden or Ukraine in the final, right? You know what? It's got to be France for me. I know it's not a sexy pick. I mentioned before the tournament, the world champions. They're the best team. They've been up and down so far, but I would look at that midfield in particular. And of course, as a Man United fan, you love Paul Pogba, I think, but he has been absolutely the best player in this tournament so far. It's the Pogba.
Music to my ears. Music to my ears.
He should be doing that each week, though, right? At Old Trafford, but he's not for some reason. Blame Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I don't know, but he's been just brilliant beside N'Golo Kante. Yeah. And when Karim Benzema is scoring goals, throwing back the clock, I think France, they're going to find their mojo in the next round, and I think they're going to progress, and I think they're going to win this thing.
Still even haven't had a goal from Kylian Mbappe. James, listen, it's always fun talking to you, man. Thanks for this.
Thanks, Faizal. Anytime, mate.